And we're live. And with me, I have Colonel Addis Valor.
Aldus Valor.
Aldus Valor. Is that your real name?
Of course it is.
Oh, awesome. Hmm, let's see.
My first name is Colonel. That's what most people don't seem to get. So they're like they refuse to call me Colonel, and it's like, well, why? It's my name.
No. I mean, it's like you call yourself Aldous Valor. Is that like your real name, or is that
Of
like?
course it is.
Oh, and
Of course it is.
and as we established in the beginning of the hangouts, you smoke real cigarettes, not those gag cigarettes.
Yes, I do smoke real cigarettes. Not like not like Morley's from the X Files. Those were fake TV props.
Yeah. Oh, you smoke Camel cigarettes.
Of course.
Uh,
Well, the filtered ones. Camel cigarettes don't have filters, and I'm not that much of a man.
yeah. So if like you have like any horny fangirls who want to smoke the same cigarettes you smoke, your horny fangirls now know.
I wish they would like pass out their phone numbers and shit because that'd be great.
I mean, like as far as I know, girls mail you their panties. As far as I know.
I just yeah, I know I have like some real like hardcore followers and fans and things, but I don't have like women like throwing their underwear at me or anything. Which I don't see why not. I'm a stud.
Of course, you are like one of the handsomest men I've ever seen. So it's like, who knows? I mean, maybe you're just being modest, and when you walk down the streets, you get like lots of used underwear thrown at you. Girls just take their panties off, like right there in front of everybody, and they just fling their panties at you. Like, let me just take my panties off right now, right quick.
It'd be great if we lived in a world where that was like currency. Why use paper money when we could be using panties, like used ones?
Yeah. Oh,
And then
but
of course,
what would the guys do for currency, Dan?
uh, yeah, that's a good question. They'd have to get panties, I guess, because I don't think used like jock straps would be worth as much, honestly.
Well, maybe the gay guys would want somebody.
Well, yeah, that's true. That would be, discriminating against the gay men.
Oh, yeah, that's a
I
good
don't.
point. Gay men wouldn't want females' dirty panties.
No. I don't think they would. Maybe, like we'd set up like an exchange bank where there's rates, depending on the demand and the market and things like that, and like I don't know, three jockeys for one pair of panties. That sounds fair.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, at least the gay men would be happy. But I mean, when it comes to currency, I mean, I don't know. I don't think anybody would want strictly post panties. That would be like minus 1,000 chalk straps.
this this happens in every hangout I do. It takes a turn for the weird like right away.
Maybe,
Oh, hold on, I'll let you out. Go ahead, I'm listening.
oh, you have a dog with you?
It's a cat.
Uh,
Cat wants out. The dogs aren't allowed back here.
Um, How would you describe your personality?
How would I do it?
Like,
Ah,
how would you describe your personality? Like, would you say that you're humorous? Would you say, I mean, what type of person do you think that you are?
I like to think that I'm the smartest one out of all of my friends. And it's not because I'm like some kind of super genius or anything. It's like I'm not. I'm an idiot. But my friends are even worse than me. Um, I don't just say whatever comes to mind because, there's a point that you reach at times where your brain stops saying things like, you shouldn't say that. And then it's like, does a complete 180 and it's like, fuck it, say it, see what happens. And I've reached that point a long time ago. I'm going to say it, here it comes. And it gets to the point sometimes where it's like a game where you see just how long it takes for you to say something to somebody to make them just shake their head and walk away. But no, I like to think I'm funny. I know that when I'm watching my own videos and there's something that I say that makes me laugh, that I don't usually make myself laugh.
Yeah.
But I think I provide a different sort of insight to things, and by my nature, just look at things a lot differently than most other people do.
Yeah, though when it comes to feminists, I think that's, maybe when they're girls, they said whatever they want, but then they grow into, you can't say this because this is racist, that is sexist, this is misogynistic. I don't think that they were like that when they're teenagers, but that's like, they want to turn the West into a nanny states.
I just before we started the show, and I told you I was composing a long comment to somebody, I was just talking about that very same thing. Was that I consider myself as an anti-feminist by default. I have to be because I'm pro-internet, and I believe that the internet should be varied and diverse. And with the, as you said, what was it? You said nanny state?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what's happening to the internet across the board is, or at least across major social media sites, is that it's becoming, one mind, one voice, and if you speak out, you're gone. And that shouldn't be the way that it is. And like when you talk to a feminist and you call them a censorious or what destroy the internet, the first thing they do is marry, and they're like, well, humanist is. And then I'm like, well, what are you fighting for now? Because, you've already done that. And then usually the answer has something to do with white male privilege. And then I tell them that, white male privilege, that entire idea of white male privilege is on its face both racist and sexist. And then they say things like, well, you can't be racist against whites, you can't be sexist against men. And then I ask them, why is the dictionary definition of feminism correct, but the dictionary definition of racism incorrect? And then I get accused of rape.
Yeah. How often do you get accused of rape?
if if feminists had their way, I'd be serving like, I don't know, 100 consecutive life sentences for rape accusations. I don't know. It's never actually happened, but
I've been accused
You know,
of racism quite a few times. It's kind of like I'm called racist against black people for pointing out the facts. I am racist against white people for joking.
wait, you're accused of being racist against black people
By black people. Though
by black.
though one white guy accused me of being racist against black people. Like, oh, you really are just nothing more than racist. You're racist against black people. Well, only one white guy said it, but black people accused me of being racist against black people for pointing out the facts. Like, you know, white people are more likely to be killed by black people than vice versa. This comes directly from the FBI itself. And so, like, if I point out, it's like, well, white people have more to be afraid of being killed by black people than vice versa. It's like, well, rights of facts are racist. But if I tell a joke, then I am racist against white people.
You can't win. You can't win. Uh,
Yeah, like I just got bombarded with tweets saying you're racist against white people. You're so racist. Oh my God, you hate the whites race. How could you? And it's like, it's a joke. What is humor? It's like humor doesn't register with some people. They don't even know a joke when they hear it.
that's exactly the thing. Comedians won't go anywhere near colleges anymore.
Mhm.
They can't, because nobody wants to hear like actual humor. They want like I'm not sure what they want, to be honest with you. Certainly not my brand of humor.
Yeah,
The craft kind of gross out, kind of, I can't believe he said that kind of shit.
yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, like me, I was doing bits of a Gazi Koso parody, and I was a lot like, oh yeah, Danny DeShoff is proof that all white people are racist. And then people just, interloped on a joke, and then it took it seriously, when really, if they would have a link to my YouTube channel. It's on my Twitter, and in my media. Like if they look at my media, they would see that I recently shared a video from I don't know how to pronounce the name. I think it's her name Izzy. That's white female rapper. I just shared her video just like the day before. The day before, shared Izzy's videos, but yet I'm still racist against white people. That's weird. Or if they go to my YouTube channel, they would have seen that I just got through liking a video from Vernaculus, who is white. It's kind of weird how I have white people on my channel so many times, but I'm still racist against white
Or
people.
am I cut out and I'm in some kind of shadow universe? There you are. I just heard you.
Hmm?
I couldn't hear you for a few seconds.
What part did you miss?
The last maybe 10, 15 seconds of what you said before I I told you I can hear you again.
Oh yeah, like I just got through liking a video from Vernaculus, and yet people like, oh yeah, you're still racist against white people. You hate the white race, all for telling a joke. All for telling a joke, and you just can't win with people. You're just a racist bigot. And even jokes will get you labeled a racist.
Well, it works both ways though. Just recently, I released a video where I defended Sargon, and I knew with the whole Jess Phillips "I wouldn't rape you" thing that he did,
Mhm.
and I knew that by doing this I would get a large number of Sargon's audience watching me, and I know that his audience mostly consists of like yellow jackets that are spaced out on PCP. So I didn't want all of them. I just wanted the smart ones that would understand my craft and what I do, and and the my art. And I put together this like 7-minute lecture proving that 0.99999 equals 1 before I did anything else talking about Sargon. And they all lost their shit on me. They're like, I didn't watch any of this. You didn't stick around to the end. And it's like, for me, you never leave a movie before the credits are over. If you watch my videos, there's always something after the outro. There's always something. And if you don't watch it until the video stops, I don't want you watching me anyway. And so here we have these people saying that they watched for 1 minute out of 10 and then left a nasty comment. And it's like, well, I don't want you anyway. And you would be surprised me and SJW.
I missed the last 5 seconds of what you had to say.
All these off, all right, called me an SJW. When I'm nothing of the sort, I was defending Sargon. But when you get to the point where you're pissing people off and, it's the us versus them mentality that happens on both sides of the camp, especially when you have, rabid fans like Sargon does.
Oh yes, Sargon does have some rabid fans. Like one guy was said, and this was under a video where Sargon apologized for how he behaved for when doing a hangout with Chrissy Winters.
Oh, Dr. Government, yeah.
There's a person who left a comment and they say, I love you, Sargon, you're the best, but I cannot even criticize you without having a bunch of your rabid fans attacking me,
You can't even defend him. You can't even defend him without them coming.
Yeah.
And if they don't like you, then you're an SJW. It's kind of like you and how people find, the stuff on your Twitter feed and like, you're a racist. And it's like, how much content did you actually observe?
Did you know that a feminist flow, there are people who watch feminist flow's videos and think that he's a real feminist because they just watch like the first minute. They think, oh, you're a feminist, and they're like, they just go on off, and they didn't even watch the whole entire video to see he's not a really feminist.
I just put one out the other day, yesterday morning, and I started talking about The Onion, and I was using The Onion as the basis for my point. And somebody actually commented, The Onion's a satire site, right? And I'm like, did you watch the rest of the presentation? Did you see any of it? Did you see it, the one I put out yesterday?
No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah. You have to. That was great. The one that went out yesterday, sadly, we lost Agent of Doubt, the original Agent of Doubt. The one, I put out the, in loving memory of Agent of Doubt, the whole thing, and everyone was like, Agent of Doubt's still alive. And I'm like, no, what you don't understand is that the Agent of Doubt that you see now is actually an alternate that I brought back with me from the parallel Earth last year when I came back, and I came back right before President Palin declared war on New Canada. And I thought it was funny to replace Agent of Doubt with this alternate and turn the original Agent of Doubt into a weapon. And so the original one that started this channel many years ago in this dimension, he unfortunately perished yesterday in an unexpected experimental weaponry accident. It really is a shame. He was a good man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's the thing. I lie all the time. but I'm open about it. I'm telling you that I'm lying. And usually I don't have to. Usually, when I say things like, I killed 6 hookers before I made this video, I'm open about it, and that makes me more trustworthy than like the mainstream media, because you know I'm lying. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works?
Yes.
How the hell did we get here? This is something else that happens in every hangout I'm part of, whether it's mine or not. It's we start off instantly weird. Although this was a nice twist today. Was talking about used panties as money. We start off weird, and then we get to places that I don't know how the hell we got to.
Yeah, the other Agents of Doubts. I only know one Agents of Doubts.
See, I killed my alternate while I was over there. Like, I found him and killed him with a rock and replaced him and ran his channel into the ground, like, immediately. That was the first thing I did, was destroy his channel.
Yeah. Let's see. Have you, at any points of your life, ever been a feminist?
I've never used that word to describe myself. I was born in these, and adulthood came this century, or yeah, it would have come this century, and I had to think. Wait, when did I turn 18? What year was that? But yeah, and here we are in the 2000s, and all the things that traditional feminists fought for, they have that. When you look up the dictionary definition of feminism, they want to be equal to men economically, socially, and politically. You did that. You did that a long time ago. What are you fighting for now? And I've never used that word feminist to describe myself, because I didn't think it was necessary to do those things anymore. Don't get me wrong. I don't believe that women should not be treated equally to men. But there isn't a fight there that I won. And now, especially not now, with the way things have become, there's no chance. There's no chance.
Yeah, I mean, like Miss Shadow Paints just said, women have it far better than men here.
Yeah. A lot of times they do.
Yeah.
And, don't get me wrong. I know misogyny exists. I know that there are people that believe that women should not be treated equally to men, that they should be barefoot and pregnant and making sandwiches. I know that these people exist, but they usually exist in a part of the nation where I would never go. These are the same places where, like, being a racist is all right and stuff like that.
I'm not sure if there's a place like that around. I can't think of any, because I know that people like to say that the South is very racist, but I live in the South, and well, when it comes to sexism, I've never ever experienced sexism at all in the South. And when it comes to racism, here and there, yes, but overall, no. Like if I
It's not so open anymore.
Yeah, because it's like when it comes to racism in the South, I experienced it like, I don't know, like 3, 4 times. But overall, the vast majority of the white people I met, overall, the majority of white people have been amazing to me.
Yeah. It's like I was saying, of course, a certain percentage of the population is going to be an asshole. Right? I mean, you get a large group of people, you're going to wind up with a few assholes in there.
Yeah.
It's like Sargon's followers. I mean, you get a big enough group of people, you're gonna have a pretty big group of idiots.
Yeah, it sucks that you got called an SJW, but I've been seeing that a lot lately. Like The Amazing Atheist. So many people like TJ's an SJW now. That's like he's been fighting against social justice warriorism for a very long time.
Yeah.
I think he was the one of the first few people that I think he was the very first few people who actually made an anti-feminist video. Like if you go back and if you watch Teach's videos and if you watch Jacqueline Glenn's videos, you will realize that TJ and Jacqueline Glenn were the ones that made the very first anti-feminist videos before it was even popular, like before it was even a thing.
And for me, the turning point was an event called The Fattening.
The fact?
I don't know. The Fattening. Yeah. This happened on Reddit, where there was a subreddit there called Fat People Hate, where they take candid photos of fat people and make fun of them and shit. And Reddit shut them down because of hate speech. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I'm a fat guy. I wouldn't necessarily like the things that they would say about my fatness, but they should be allowed to say it. And that was really the turning point for me when I was like, this is happening to Reddit. At one point, it was supposed to be, quote, a bastion of free speech on the internet, and then all of a sudden that stopped.
Are you still there? Oh,
I'm sorry?
it seems like you cut off. Like I don't think I heard the last few points. You said that Reddit is the last bastion of free speech.
It was several years ago, one of the Reddit founders was quoted as saying that Reddit is supposed to be a bastion of free speech on the internet. And then when the fattening came around, that very same admin was talking about how Reddit is not a bastion of free speech. And they're like, well, that's not what you said a few years ago. But when it was started, that's what made it what it became. Was that you can go there with any opinion you want, and there's a subreddit for that.
Yeah. Well, I find to be the most strange is that I just got through watching not really all, most of Jacqueline Glenn's older videos, and she is right when she made her new video that and it's not just her, the Amazing Atheists were the very first few people who actually made anti-feminist videos. So it's kind of weird now that everybody's saying that Jacqueline Glenn is a feminazi. Like when she recently said that she didn't really have those views, and then when she looked at the finished product, it didn't go the way she thought it was gonna go. So she felt misled, and she felt like she's being tricked by the people who asked her to make the video. So she felt like she's been deceived, because when she looked at a finished project, she's like, I hate this video. And it's not like, she talked about how she was the first few people that brought up men's rights issues before it was even popular. And I just got through watching those videos. So I know that she's telling the truth, because I just saw those videos like just last night going through her older content. And the amazing atheist, right, when he talked about being the very first few people that talk about, feminism and how it's toxic for society, those who really did talk about feminism long before it was even popular, long before
Right.
Sargon got really popular for it. They were the very first ones. Yeah, like even the amazing atheist, so many people made YouTube videos saying, "Oh, you're SJW. You're defending Muslims. You're an SJW. You're an SJW. You took the dark turn. You're an SJW now." And it's kind of like he's been he was like one of the original ones talking about how it's a problem. He made that
Mm-hmm.
33 arguments against feminists, and it's kind of like it's weird that all these people are jumping on him, calling him an SJW, when I think that they are doing the exact same thing that they accuse SJW does. SJWs, they call people racist and sexist to shut down the conversation. It's
Yes.
kind of like you are a racist or you are sexist, and this shuts down conversations instead of opening the doors to dialogue. And they're pretty much doing essentially the same thing with the amazing atheist. They call him they call him an SJW to shut down a conversation. And it's a lot like, like I saw them saying, I mean, in a private group, but I saw them saying that I wouldn't even go to the drunken peasants hangout. I wouldn't. And it's like they have no idea how much they sound like Steve Shives just then. They sounded just like Steve Shives. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even open. They're like, oh, crowd, he may go to drunken peasants, but I wouldn't even go to the drunken peasants hangout. They are not, the drunken peasants are not even worth talking to. And it's like, is
Mm-hmm.
that what Steve Shives does? I mean, because if Steve Shives, if you ever looked at his Twitter, if
Yeah,
you didn't get blocked and was able to see his Twitter,
that happened long ago.
Facebook, he would go, anti-feminists are not worth talking to. You're not even worth talking to. I want to give you the courtesy. And anti-feminists like, you should be open to conversation. Fast forward now, I wouldn't even go to the drunken peasants. I mean, if that's what crowds want to do, but I wouldn't even go to the drunken peasants. SJ, the amazing atheist is an SJW, and that's it. It's like, then, I mean, you're doing the exact same thing that you hate Steve Shives for, I mean, except
Yeah.
for the blocking part, except for blocking. But other than that, there isn't much of a difference between, them and Steve Shives.
Yeah, I mean the ideological differences are there, but the practical differences are basically non-existent. I mean, in practice, they both operate the same way. A lot of times, on both sides of the fence, you have these, I'm not going to talk to you, da 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 da, and then I started out basically, talking to people I disagreed with. I was a lot more polite back then, but it's supposed to be varied and diverse. There's supposed to be opposing views and opposing ideas and a conversation. And back in the day, sure, we talked shit on each other, but we still, we talked.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like they do the exact same thing that they hate SJWs for. They accuse SJWs like for not being open to dialogue, not being open to conversation. In a private group, that's why none of you would ever see it, because it's in a private group. But they were like, I wouldn't even go to the drunken peasants, and I don't think they were telling T like, I don't think that it's worth going there. Like, I'm surprised he would even go. I wouldn't even bother. And it's like, that's the exact same thing that
Mhm.
That's the exact same thing that Steve Shives says about the anti-feminist community, that he wouldn't even bother talking to us, that it's a waste of time. And it's kind of like we are the scum of the earth, we're just racist. You're just going, the amazing atheist is a race, an SJW, excuse me, an SJW, therefore you wouldn't even waste your time. You hate, they are doing the exact same thing that Steve Shives does, just with the amazing atheist, except for blocking. That's the
Yeah.
one difference. Steve Shives blocks everybody. They didn't block the amazing atheist, but they're essentially doing in practicing using a word, to silence debates.
Right. It's just the
Not
next step. It's just the next step down from blocking.
Yeah, not willing. Like if they had the opportunity, they would never ever go to the drunken peasants hangouts. Which is what Steve Shives does. It's like, even if I could talk about this, I wouldn't bother talking about this. And they get on Steve Shives' ass for not willing to talk to Sargon of Akkad during the hangout. They're like, oh man, you wouldn't even talk to Sargon during the hangout. And here they are saying, I wouldn't even go to the drunken peasants hangout. Like, what's the difference between the two of you? Except Steve Shives blocks everybody on Twitter and you don't.
I don't know if you saw a recent video from dun 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 Jenny McDermott, to invoke that name, but she was talking about how she just had a birthday and she was celebrating by going, I think she said, to some hotel bar, having a few drinks, and like she crossed paths with Milo Yiannopoulos and went over and said hi. And I mean, here's these people that are like mortal enemies, and they talked, had a great conversation, laughed and joked and hugged each other and everything. And I'm watching this thinking, all right, there's no pictures of this, but I don't care if this didn't happen. This is exactly the right message.
Yeah,
Right?
JJ Talks is actually a feminist, and the drunken peasants, like the cast, is openly anti-feminist, but she had a fun time meeting up with them. Like she took pictures with them and she posted her pictures with them on Twitter.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's the internet. We're supposed to talk shit about each other. I mean, we're supposed to be rude to each other, and I mean, you don't have to be, but it should be expected.
Yeah, I mean, though the anti-feminist community are becoming worse. I mean, she is now triggering anti-feminists. Like she told a joke. That's how JJ Talks did it. JJ Talks told a joke, and her joke triggered a bunch of anti-feminists. Her joke was, she started a fake petition to ban Sargon from the internet. And
Right.
Sargon even signed a petition. Sargon signed it. If you went and looked at Twitter, she and Sargon were both laughing at his fans together. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you know. It's kind of like people can't take a joke now because they just see ban Sargon from the internet, but they don't do any investigation. And, because if you look at, I follow both of them on Twitter, so I could see both of them making fun of Sargon's fans.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I'm glad they weeded themselves out on my video. Like, for like every 10 that, told me I don't know how to do math, or like I'm fat because they had nothing else to say, for every 10 that hated me, there was maybe one that got it and figured out what I was doing and was like, this is a great video. So, and I can't believe that one was the most controversial video I've ever made. It's like that's the one. That's the most controversial one. Really, that one.
And all you did was come to Sarkon's defense or something.
Yeah, it's yeah. I think everybody had to decide to send a tweet to Jess Phillips. Everybody had to, make that choice. And then, of course, the counter argument that I got was that, oh, well, what about the marketing industry? There's so much money to be made in advertising, that doesn't work. And I was like, let's say you see an ad for a brand new car and you go and you buy that car. Did you decide to go and buy that car? Or did you just here's my money? I mean, you did not get in your car, drive to the dealership, pick out one you wanted, test drove it, and then sign the lease? Or did you just be like, here's a check, I'll take the keys? It's if I say that I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because right now the choices are choosing between being shot in the head or being shot in the gut. Do I want the world to be destroyed, quickly, or do I want to let the world bleed out? I think I'd rather want to get it over with. And even if there were Trump, why he would make I can't even say it. Why if there was a great argument for why Donald Trump would be a very successful president, and I made that argument, when you step into the voting booth, you still have to vote. You still have to make that decision. So even if Sargon of Akkad said straight out, everybody send this tweet to Phillips, I wouldn't even rape you. Send this tweet to her. Everybody who did it still had to make a decision. They still had to type it out. They still had to press send. So to blame the whole thing on Sargon of Akkad is ridiculous.
I wouldn't even rape you.
Yes, I wouldn't rape you either.
Oh my goodness, by saying that you won't rape me, you're actually calling me ugly.
Maybe that's how she took it and why she flipped out over that.
No. She actually, I think she...
Oh yeah, I know what she did. She turned it around and said they were all these rape threats and everything. And
No. She was in an article. Sargon tweeted out the article, and she was saying that, by saying that they wouldn't even rape me, they're saying that she's too ugly to be raped. And there are some other also saying the exact same thing. And Sargon shared how the feminists interprets it.
And when you look at the rape cases, it's always the woman out for a jog or whatever. It's never the fat woman sitting at home eating bonbons watching Days of Her Lives. It's like psychic wins lottery. It's headlines you never see. Fat woman raped. Ugly woman raped. If you're gonna do the crime, if you're going to rape somebody, at least rape a 10. Am I right? If you're gonna steal it, steal the good shit.
Yeah.
Not that I'm advocating rape or anything.
Though everybody has different tastes, There's some guys like big women, some guys,
That's true, yeah.
Everybody, some people prefer, you get a picture.
Yeah. Some people like, amputees or midgets.
Oh,
wow, that didn't take long, did it? About 45 minutes.
Yes, there are fetishes like that. It's like you're psychic again, because it's kind of like I remember reading up on different types of fetishes, and there are people who really are interested in getting with an amputee. I forgot the appropriate name for it, but there's actually a name for it. There is actually a name for people who really
I hope it's Stumpies. Can we call those people stumpies?
I don't remember the name for it, but it actually has a name for it. There's actually a name for people who are sexually attracted to people who have um uh, amputated limbs, and it's like,
Right.
really, those people exist? I'm surprised, and there's really a long list of people with weird fetishes,
Oh yeah.
what their names are called. Like, if you like this weird fetish, then you are
If you
this. Mm.
find that, don't hesitate to send it to me. I want to check off as many as I have. I want to see just how many of them I fall into. But then again, there's a lot of weird shit out there too.
I found the name for it.
Oh really?
The name is, I don't even know how to pronounce it. But it's like acrotomophilia.
Acrotomophilia?
Oh, you know how to pronounce it?
No, that was just a guess.
Oh yeah,
Acromo philia.
it's acrotophilia.
I would guess acrotomophilia.
Acrotophilia. Yeah.
That's just an educated guess.
Yeah, I mean, oh, I could share this list with you.
Yeah, send it to my Twitter DM. I'll check it out then.
Yeah, this hangout would be maybe a bit too long if we went through the whole list. It only goes from A to C. Look, it actually goes from A to C. Like,
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's, like there's zoophilia, and that,
Oh, I know what those are.
yeah, zoophilia, where you're sexually attracted to animals.
Yep.
And zoosadism, inflicting pain on or seeing animals in pain for sexual gratification.
Yep.
Zoosadism. It's like, oh, it's just weird. It just gets really weird. Like narratophilia, sexually attracted to obscene words.
Really? I gotta find a chick like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll just send it to you on the Twitter.
Yeah, I did a video on zoophilia a while ago. I don't even remember what inspired me to do it. I remember now. I was listening to old episodes of the Howard Stern show, and they had a reformed zoophiliac. It was somebody who used to he would never penetrate the dogs. He would always gratify the dogs. And I was like, holy shit, I've been telling people to go fuck the dog for like 7 years now. These people, they do. And I made the mistake of searching, for zoophilia on Tumblr. Do not do that. Do not do that. But there's like a community of people that, and it happens. I mean, it's what happened to atheism because of the internet. Everyone connected. That if you live in a one-horse town and you are a zoophiliac and you're not fucking the one horse in the town, but you have an internet connection, you can find other people like you, and they do like meetups and things, and they go to farms, and I don't know, they have sex with animals, or what they do, but it's a very, and they're touchy about it too. Like, this is how I feel, and this is what I'm into, and then you call them a horrible monster, and they're like, no, sometimes animals mate with different animals, and it's like, yes, but that's not how it's supposed to work. I mean, I understand that's how you get mules, but mules are sterile because they're abominations. So
You are vanilla privileged.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just learned what vanilla meant not that long ago from a BDSM website.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You had to go there to find out what vanilla.
Well, they're not talking about the food. They're not talking about the food vanilla. They're
No. I know it's like plain regular things.
yes, like if you like normal, regular, everyday, typical sex, then you're a vanilla.
Yeah.
It's, you have vanilla privilege.
Oh wait, vanilla privilege is a thing.
Oh, I made it
Oh,
up. I just made it up. Like, like people like to act like they're such victims, like the pedophilia, and now these social justice warriors are coming behind the pedophilia, and they're like, no, like you're just discriminating against this minority, and
right.
like, and they're trying to make it LGBTQ IAPP.
I I get LGBT. I transcribe letters in that backwards a lot.
But it's like
What?
LGBTQIAPP.
I know.
Pansexual pedophilia.
Wait. Okay, yeah. I know the alphabet forwards and backwards, and that's about as far as I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm not.
they're trying to get the whole entire alphabet. It's to the point. I do think it's going to be counterproductive in
Yeah.
the end, because I do think that if you're going to go and be like LGBTQIAPP, I do think that there are going to be people like, okay, this is getting ridiculous now, and they're just going to be turned off all issues at that point.
Yep. That's precisely what will happen, especially when you start including, things that are not socially acceptable and never will be, like having sex with children. Once you start doing that, you're going to delegitimize the rest of the movement.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when I see otherkin trying to compare themselves to transsexuals. And I'm like, do you not understand what you're doing here? You're delegitimizing, an actual issue because you want to play make-believe and be treated as a normal person, which is fine. I don't care if you play make-believe. Just call it what it is. Make-believe. You are not another animal. So it's a spiritual connection. Okay. You have to prove the existence of spirits now. And like I just had this argument too about somebody because they found my otherkin video that I made last summer and she freaked out on me, and I'm like,
yeah, it just reaches the point where people are making fun of it now. I don't know if you watched Louder with Crowder, but he just got through making fun of it. Like, he had a fake Bernie Sanders, fake Donald Trump, and they were like LGBTQIA, and then like Donald Trump was like LGBT community, and the guy was like, IA is the LGBTQIA movement. So don't forget the IA.
ah,
Man, we just get like way off topic. We just got like that conversation is just like we get way up here.
this, I should have warned you about this ahead of time. This is cool for me. If it's unstructured, it's going to go to places you don't expect it to.
No, but I do have a list of questions to ask you. Like when it's like to like a whole different level. It's like how did we end up talking about pedophilia? I mean,
Could be. We started talking about different fetishes, and then we started talking about zoophilia in specifically, and and then
this is why I open it up to a link of weird fetishes because because I do have some links to weird fetishes that people I mean, if you can look up this if you want to, but it's probably good that you do not look this up. So I'm going to say this to the people watching, our listeners: do not look these up. The Alaskan pipeline, the blue waffle, the Boston pancake, and the Alabama hot pocket. Definitely don't learn what any of these things are. And again, I'll say that the things you're not supposed to learn are the Alaskan pipeline, the blue waffle, the Boston pancake, and the Alabama hot pocket. Don't look up Alabama hot pocket. Okay.
but do feel free to look up reverse corn cob or an Oklahoma corn cob. That's a good one too. That was this happened a couple years ago. Somehow we decided that if you were going to insert produce in your rectum, the most pleasant one would be corn on the cob because it has all the ridges and the nibs. And so he started looking up all these sexual corn cob terms. My favorite is the reverse corn cob, but I'll let you look that up on your own time.
You said the reverse corn cup.
Yep. Click on the Urban Dictionary link.
Oh, I'm at the Urban Dictionary link right now. When you get a Cobb salad, which happens when a piece of undigested corn gets locked in your penis after anal sex, your partner can remove it by performing a procedure known as the reverse corn cob. This is when your partner sucks the undigested corn out of your penis and eats it again.
Look it up now. It's always a delight. Get to hear people this initial reaction to that.
Yeah. Though I forgot what the other one was called, like Oklahoma something.
An Oklahoma corn cob or a Nebraska corn cob.
Oh, there's so them Oklahoma corn cob and Alaska corn cob. Okay.
Nebraska.
Oklahoma corn cob. Oh, here you go. Let's see. An Oklahoma corn cob is where you stick a corn cob into a girl's vagina during a period until she comes on it. Then you proceed to eat the corn with with all the extra toppings. Oh my god!
Yeah, you got to steam the corn first.
We have the Nebraska corn cob. Fucking a chick in the ass after she has consumed a large amount of corn, then pulling out your corn covered dick and having her eat the corn off your dick as if it was a corn on the cob.
So, as you can imagine, we had a great time that day. We learned so many.
Yeah, I couldn't stop laughing when I learned what the Alabama Hot Pocket was. I just started looking at Alabama Hot Pocket and Blue Waffle and whatnot, the Alaskan Pipeline, and I had the greatest laugh of my life.
So when you asked about my humor earlier, that's it right there. That right there is, all the different corn cobs. That's
So, why are you an anti-feminist? And if you have a different answer, what's inspired? Uh, uh, man, shits, I have so many similar questions. Maybe I should ask all three at once. Why are you anti-feminist? Why did you start a YouTube channel? What has inspired you to make anti-feminist YouTube videos?
um. Well, I touched on two of those briefly. I'm an anti-feminist because I'm what they're doing to the internet. I'm an anti-feminist because I have to be, because what they're doing to the internet directly conflicts with my own views. So in that sense, you could call me, an internet conservative, I guess. Maybe I just made up a new term there. What inspired me, excuse me, to do that was the fattening that happened on Reddit. That was absolutely the last straw for me. Was when all that went down. But why I started my channel, I was bored. I was bored one night, and so I published a video.
So the reason why you was inspired to make anti-feminist YouTube videos was because the fattening and the fattening was the last straw.
That was the last straw. I saw what happened to Reddit and what was going to happen to the rest of the internet if the feminists had their way. And so for me, it was kind of like, when I see what are doing and the human rights that they're voting against, and when I see these things, I figure the best way to stop it is to attack the ideology.
Yeah.
To go after the ideology, because if there's no more conservative Christians, there's no more conservative Christians voting against, gay marriage or abortion or whatever else. And same thing with, these feminists is they're trying to shut down the internet as we know it and put up safe spaces everywhere where you can be safe and comfortable. And you're not supposed to be safe or comfortable on the internet. Well, you're supposed to be safe, but you're not supposed to be shielded from ideas that are different from yours. And absolutely, you should expect to be uncomfortable, because at any point in time, I could share a link with you to the definition of an Oklahoma corn cob. It's the internet. And figured, because this censorious nature, this shutdown of the internet, which what is happening, what we're seeing happen. We have, Anita Sarkeesian on the Safe and Trust Board, and so the best way, the only way I can think of to prevent these negative consequences is to go after the ideology. And I'm not saying that, women should not be treated equally to men. The feminists of yesteryear absolutely should be, praised and admired and respected. But the feminists of today, that complain about a rape culture while defending, the feelings of Muslims, who I'm pretty sure, in the Quran, in their rule book, one of the rules is you rape it, you bought it. And then to have the feminists, that was a joke, to have the feminists defending, the Muslims, which very much, are a rape culture. The Western Muslims, they're okay. You never hear them talking about places where rape is a very big problem, like Saudi Arabia or Yemen or things like that. You never hear them complaining about it.
That's because women have it equally as bad in the West. In the Christian Bible, it's equally as bad. Yeah, because, we are suffering just like those women in the Muslim countries.
Yeah.
Oh, and criticizing Muslims is racist because suddenly Muslim is suddenly a race for some reason.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't know how they square that circle, but they try to. They try to constantly, and it's a shame because Islam really is. I mean, Islam is a religion of peace. It is, and the peace will come after every other religion on earth has been destroyed. That's when the peace comes. After the destruction. And it really is a shame.
Yeah. I hate it when people can't tell the difference between a race and a religion.
Yeah, that takes away my faith in humanity every single time. That was a discussion we had and settled like years ago. Islam is not a race. And so to see it, rearing its ugly head again nowadays is kind of...
Yeah, it's like so many people I talk to think that Islam is a race. And if it's not Islam, then Muslims is a race instead of the dictionary definition, which is a follower of Islam. And apparently, British is a race. Like
I saw that today too.
And like
you might have been the one who shared it or something.
And like Mexican is a race too, like instead of a nationality,
Right.
It's like, like all this time, I thought if you're British or Mexican, I thought that those were nationalities. But apparently you could be racist against British people and racist against Mexicans. People think Mexican is a race. It's not just a nationality.
Well, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're white, you're automatically a racist. So
No. If you're black, you can internalize white supremacy.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You can do that.
Like, did you watch the recent shits? What went down with Milo Yiannopoulos at some college where they started blowing their whistles?
Oh, I didn't see that. No.
In the middle, there's this girl. Her name is Katie, and she stood up for Milo. Like, she had a bunch of nice things to say about Milo and whatnot. And when the black girl called Katie came to Milo's defense, people called her a white supremacist. And you can hear Katie clearly say, "What, I'm a white supremacist now? Seriously, this girl just called me a white supremacist." And I mean, I've been called a white supremacist myself. I've been called a white supremacist. I've been accused of racism against white people. Like, apparently I hate white people, but I am racist against black people too. So apparently I just hate everybody.
My whole deal is that nothing should be off limits. You should be able to make fun of anybody. I mean, is it too soon to make Holocaust jokes? Really? 70 years?
Yeah, but in my case, I was called racist for two different reasons. For black people, I was called racist for pointing out all the facts. When I, put all the facts out there, I'm racist against white people. When I was so joking, I made a Gossy Coastal parody. But if you like go through my tweets, or if you like go through my media section, or if you watch my channel, it should be perfectly clear that I have no problem with white people. I mean, I've that's the vast majority of my guests. Like the one and only black guest I ever had was That's Guy T. That guy T was the only black guest I had. Other than that, I mostly had white people on my channel, except for um Focus Break, and Focus Break is from the Middle East.
Okay. Which I think for the longest time they were considered to be Caucasian, but now that's changing. Don't call yourself Caucasian. You're something else.
I don't know. I don't know what you would call people from the Middle East, because they do have a tan. I mean, they are a bit, they don't look black, but they have a bit of a tan there. They don't.
Like, I guess maybe as far back as 100 years ago or so, they were considered to be white, like for census data and things like that. And I don't know all of it. I don't even remember why I had to look that up. But yeah, I mean, and especially when you're in a day and age when you're making up new words every single day. What do I call you?
I remember now. Their race is East Asian. They're East Asian.
East Asian.
This is South Asian. Is it East Asian or is it South Asian?
East Asia would be like the Far East. Like Japan and...
Wait a minute, wouldn't they be South Asian? Didn't like people from Saudi Arabia, would they be South Asian?
That'd be more like Southwestern Asian.
Yeah, I think people from the Middle East are South Asian. My bad.
Yeah, and then like India is the subcontinent, and then the rest is Russia.
Yeah, we get back to Caucasian again.
Yeah, right. The further north you go, the whiter you get. And it's like, at what point do we stop caring?
Well, feminists want to allow us to stop caring.
Yeah,
alt-rights, for the alt-rights and the KKK, they care about race, and feminists won't let us stop talking or thinking about race, and they control the academia, and they make sure that we think about race.
I don't care. I just care if you're an idiot or not. You can be an idiot in any color.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're like on the internet and you're dealing with avatars and not like actual people. The faceless. I call them faces. When you're dealing with facelesses, I don't care what race you are. I never have. If you're an idiot, I'm going to say something about it. If you're wrong, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to make fun of you, but I'm going to get you wrong.
My Twitter avatar is a cup of tea.
Yes. I mean, mine's a drawing of myself. As when people are like, "Well, you're just an avatar too," I'm like, "That's a picture of me. It's a drawing of me." It's like, here, I can prove it. That's what I look like.
Show your face. Show your face. Show your face. Show your face.
I don't. As long as you're not making fun of my physical appearance, I don't care if you don't show your face or not. But if you're gonna go that route, you better have the balls of like showing yourself as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I draw the line. Because like, if you're gonna call me fat, I'm not gonna take anything you have seriously if I don't know what you look like.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of weird when people who don't show their faces complain when YouTubers don't show their face, especially if they have. Like Sargon is a coward. Sargon doesn't even show his face, except for all the times he has, of course.
Yeah, right. Of course.
Yeah. And the people who are complaining that Sargon doesn't show his face, it's just people who stumbled onto his video and they haven't
One
watched.
video,
Yeah, they
right?
stumbled onto like a few videos. They're like, "Oh, you don't show your face," and the thing is, they don't even show theirs. You know, they
Right.
would just use some other pic. They don't even show their face, but they're like, Sargon, you don't even show their face. You're punk ass bitch, Sargon. You're punk ass bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, like I said, I think I'm to the point now where I'm just not gonna talk to you if you don't make videos. It's like if you don't, I click on your name and it says this channel has no content. I'm like, that's exactly right, because this no content either.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to sound egotistical and a bit narcissistic, but it's a lot like, what do you see? At first, same with you, like if a person has no content, I wouldn't bother talking to them, with the exception if they shower me with compliments. Now, if they're going to shower me with a bunch of compliments, they're like, oh,
Um,
like, how are you doing today? But if they're going to be like, you're a bitch, and I look and I see that they have no content, well, I'm not
right.
talking to you because I think you're a troll,
Yeah. I mean, it used to be there used to be a day where I'd take on everybody, but I'm 30 fucking years old now. For it unless there's a payoff at the end.
You cut off there was a blank before it cuts off in the end. You said I'm 35 years old.
I'm 30 fucking years old. I'm only 30. I'm 30 years old. I'm getting too old for this, and like, I'm not gonna go for it anymore unless there's a payoff to be had.
Yeah, I would rather talk to people who shower me with compliments. I know that sounds like narcissistic, but like, why on earth would I want to talk to people like, you're so stupid or you're so racist? Oh my God, you're so racist. You're such a bigot. You hate white people. You hate black people. You've internalized white supremacy. Oh my God, you hate the white race. You're so into it. It's like, same with you. Like, for me, I'm 27 years old. Being 27 years old, I mean, if you caught me back, when I was like 20, yes, if back when I was 20, I would take you on. But now that I'm 27, I'm not gonna put up with your shit.
Right. That's exactly right. I mean, life goes on. You get older. You realize the years are going by faster. It's like, when you're 10, a year is 10% of your life. So, so it takes so long for your next birthday, but now you get to the point where it's like, oh God, again, I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm not getting any younger. When you're 27, you're close to middle age. So it's kind of like,
Not for me. 27 was middle age.
yeah. So it's kind of like, why on earth would I just want to waste years of my life on some idiots over the internet? Like, I mean, if you actually have a YouTube channel and you actually are going to make a video to me, and if it makes sense, like if you have criticisms, like criticisms against um But I mean, I do live streams now. But
Right.
yeah, but it's kind of like if you have some actual good criticism, then like yes, I would listen to good criticism, but I'm not going to waste my time on childish name calling.
Yeah. I do enough of that myself. At least I used to. I used to do that a lot. I don't do that very much anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of like the younger you are, the more you're into name calling. Like you're a this and you're a that and you're a this and you're a that. But the older you get, it's like, oh, that name calling, that's for children.
I used to, what I loved to do was come up with alternate names for people, and that would be their name for like ever.
Um,
System, that's what I would call them.
mhm. For me, I would just when I was much younger, like a teenager or whatever, I would look up like really big words over the internet, and that's what I call people. Like, you're asinine, you know.
My favorite is sesquipedalian. It means a word with many syllables.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's more like, or I'll be like, you're pusillanimous, you know. It's kind of more like, you know, yeah, yeah, that's what I do. I would look at the biggest words in the internet, and that's what I call people like, you're pusillanimous, you're asinine. And people look like, oh my goodness, you're so annoying. You have like some superiority complex or whatever.
Remember, the problem with being better than everyone else is that everyone else thinks you're pretentious. That's the problem with being better than everyone else.
Mhm. Oh, I should probably get back to the interview questions.
Oh, do we have to? We're having so much fun.
Yeah.
Good.
Are you an MRA?
Um, to a certain extent, maybe. Um, at least when it comes to fairness between men and women, like when it comes to custody or like prison sentences and things that are unfair. I mean, to be honest, I'm not exactly certain what all, MRAs are fighting for. I'm not very familiar with that article, with that area, but what I do know is that they're not actively destroying the internet. Um, I would not call myself an to a certain extent, maybe. It would depend on the specific issues, I suppose. But no, I've never called myself that. I've never really considered myself to be one.
Um, have you ever considered yourself a MGTOW?
Um, I know I don't want to get married, and I also know I don't want children. But if there's a grumpy chick who feels the same way and who actually likes me, sure, I'll fuck around with her for a little bit. But no, I wouldn't consider myself MGTOW either. I'm not
Like,
like openly opposed to being with women. Oh, no women, never, none of that. No, I wouldn't consider myself to be MGTOW either.
ever, like there was like even like when you were 20, or there was never a time when you were like, like yeah, MGTOW, don't want to get married, don't want to have children. I really just want to.
I saw at a very young age what a wife and kids did to my father, and I knew I knew very early I never wanted to have kids. But there was a time where I was open to marriage, but then we get to a point where marriage is a contract, and it's like, what's the point of that? You
Mm.
know?
I also think that a marriage takes all the fun out of loving somebody.
Oh, that's exactly right.
Mm. That
You
is,
know what? You know what comes with a girlfriend? A leash. You know what comes with a wife? A shorter leash.
Yeah, in a way that actually sounds romantic in a way, like, marriage is a contract. It's a contract, so it's like, it's not really loving. It's, it's like a business deal. So it's kind of like when you don't get married to a person, you're all about loving them instead of having a business arrangement with them.
Right. It's uh I completely forgot what I was going to say. It's just I don't think it's necessary, at least not anymore, not today. I mean, maybe back in the day when you were, you know, trading your kids for land or whatever, maybe back then marriage was a necessary thing, but I mean, for me today, I I also like my independence. I like to be able to like leave for days at a time and not talk to anybody, and a wife's not going to like that. Like, where are you? Why aren't you home? It's like, I'm out. Doing something. Leave me alone. And so again, that's another thing. Maybe to a certain extent, you could consider me MGTOW in that I don't intend on ever getting married or having kids, but at the same time, I haven't like sworn off of women.
Yes, us dirty manipulators who wear makeup just to manipulate and deceive men for resources.
Oh God, that's what they say.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, no. Okay, no, I'm not. No, not at all.
yeah, that's what some of them say.
Yeah. No, I've been with enough women to know that's not always the case. I mean, don't I know that there's bad people, so of course there's going to be bad women.
Yeah, like we women are guilty of hegemony.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So no, I'm not MGTOW. It's like,
Uh,
again, that's like another area where it's like I know they're not a threat to me or my lifestyle. I just know that they're crazy and like they don't want wives or kids. So maybe I might be, but no, 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 no. They're on their own. I guess that's how they want it.
yeah, let's see. Do you consider America to be a very feminist country? Like, do you think that we're heavily influenced by feminism?
I think we're getting there. Um, I know that things like discrimination and racism and stuff and sexism and things of this nature, I know that they exist. I know that they exist, but I also know that systemic racism, there's no proof of that. There's no proof that there's like a law that says black people can't do this. There's nothing. I know that racism exists, but I know that racism also exists because people are racist. And I see things like, the systemic racism or how the country's keeping black people down. And I look at these things and I'm like, you people don't want equality. You want equity. If we both go to the roulette table and I put down $100 on black and you put down $100 on red and they spin the wheel, we have the same opportunity, but because we made different choices, we're going to get different outcomes.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
that's a good point.
it's this whole, your life is not as valuable as like a brain surgeon. You know, you're a fucking gender studies major. You're not as important as somebody who's saving lives.
But they are saving lives by
Ah,
fighting discrimination and fighting for the rights of women and minorities. We need these people.
yeah. Cry some more. Turns me on. um, so the question, back to the question, that's a really hard question. It depends. America is a very large country, and as such, there's regions, and so from place to place, it's going to be different, and so in different places, whatever choices you make, you know, they're gonna have different outcomes, and it's like it's it's like we could both bet on black. We could both bet $100 on black. We both have the same two different tables. You know, we might not get the same outcome. And I just came up with that right now. And I like that. And we're going to work that into a video somehow. So from place to place, things are going to be different for different people. So to say that America as a whole,
Actually,
what the hell is the question again?
I mean, that's what I said, but that's not what I meant. The question was, do you consider America to be a very feminist country? But I'm not talking about like different places like Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi. What I meant was like the media, the colleges,
Oh, okay.
the
Um,
the things that influence us, the things that would influence our behavior, the things that would influence the children, like the college campuses. Has the feminists taken that over? The media, it's very left leaning. The presidency, do we have like a series of Democratic presidencies that are, lean to the very far left, and is it really hard for conservatives to get their viewpoints without being called a racist? Like, how much is our country influenced by people? I know that individualistically you have feminists and anti-feminists, but it does seem like our country is becoming more and more like it seems like it's becoming more and more like communism, you know.
well, if you look at establishment Democrats, and I'd like to start calling establishment Democrats what they really are, Republicans. Um, if you look at like your Hillary Clintons, for example, if you take her views, which are supposedly, left leaning at least, and you compare them to the rest of the world, at the least, right leaning, and at worst, very far to the right. But then the other thing is that this goes in four directions instead of two. Like if you were to plot where I fall very far to the left. There isn't very much room to the left of me, but I'm also very far to the south. I'm a very libertarian leftist, and like for example, ideally, I would want true anarchy, where it's like a family for themselves, and water is money or dirty panties, and or whatever. But I'm also a pragmatist, so I know that true anarchy is not going to happen short of some kind of global catastrophe that renders money useless. But so I far to the left, and then we have the feminists, the radical feminist social justice types, who also fall very far to the left, but they're also very far to the north.
Yeah.
So where we align as far as like freedoms go and things like that, or and equality and human rights and shit like that, we agree on things like that. But where the difference is that I don't want as many rules as you people are looking to impose. I want to be able to go out on a street corner and yell cunt as loud as I want. And if I get punched in the face because of it, I fucking deserve it. But I should not be against the law.
Yeah, that's the difference between libertarian left and authoritarian left. I may not agree with certain things with the right, like I may be for gay marriage, and I may be like for like if you're transsexual and you want to get the surgery, I don't
Go
really
for it.
care
Yeah.
about it. But it's kind of like it's when you say it's against the law to be a conservative. It's against the law. This is against the law. It's against the law to have conservative views. That's when it's like, okay, like I may not agree with what a person has to say, but I believe that they should have the rights to say it and be seen.
Absolutely. It's like it's your body. If you want to have sex with somebody who is the same sex as you and they're up for it, fine. It's your body. If you want to be a transsexual and go through and do the whole surgery and whatever, that's you. Stop telling me what to do.
Yeah, the difference between us and the left and
And that
the
really
left
is the difference.
it's the left. It's that feminism wants to enforce rules on everybody when we are willing to accept the freedom. We prioritize freedoms over rules.
Right. You know, this this would not be happening. What's happening right now would not be going on if there were like one or two more things on the food chain that were higher than us. None of these things would be happening if there were like flying sharks or things that eat people. Because safety is not guaranteed. You should it safety is not a guarantee, but neither is comfort or things like that, and so especially not on the internet. And but then when you get out into the real world, I mean, you could be murdered by walking on the street, or at the same time you could get hit by a bus. And there was a point to all this where I was going. Um, what I'm seeing is that they want people to feel safe by declawing everybody, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like I just don't like all the rules that, the it's just authoritarianism, and I really don't like it. I mean, I may not agree with the alt rights and their racist views, but I think that they should be allowed to have their views and speak their views without, getting fired. They should be allowed to have an opinion, even
Mm-hmm.
if an opinion that I disagree with.
Yeah, and that's something like I was uh, I was playing craps one night, and it turned out the person next to me was a teacher. It was a Pennsylvania teacher, and I know like way back when during the Civil War, like the Mason-Dixon line, that was the border between North and South and everything. So Pennsylvania is kind of like the South of the North, and so like this was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I'm gambling next to a teacher, and it was my turn to shoot, and the dealer passed me the dice, the croupier passed me the dice, and he goes, "Good luck." And I look at him, and I'm like, "Good luck." That's the atheist equivalent of "I'll pray for you." They both mean the same thing. I really hope something nice happens, but I'm not willing to do anything about it. And the teacher the teacher was like, "Absolutely right. But with my job, I can't say things like that." And I'm like, you know, Pennsylvania? Really? And yeah, that sort of shit you gotta keep that secret depending on the job.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I think that the reason we're becoming more and more authoritarian is because spoiling of kids, they're being spoiled, so when they're faced with opinions different than theirs.
When everyone is given a smartphone at age 6 or younger, and all they have is the internet when that is their entire universe. And all of a sudden people are attacking them on the internet. It's like they don't know what it's like to live without it. They don't know what it's like to turn it off.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know what it means to just turn it off. It's because the reason why things are leaning more towards authoritarianism is because kids are spoiled and they have parents that never told them no. If they were
Right.
told no, and if they got to be exposed to pain and hardships, then they wouldn't be so spoiled. Because the thing is, the reason why freedom was so important to early Americans, the first Americans that still technically consider themselves British. Um, they fought for it. They fought really
Exactly.
hard for it. Therefore, they appreciated it. When you had to fight for freedom, it's really important to you. You appreciate it. But when you're spoiled and you don't have to face hardships, then you need to censor opinions that make you cry.
That's
Because
that's another thing, is that the kids today have nothing to far or against. And so they make shit up.
I think it's the parents' faults for coddling.
Oh, that's a huge deal of it too.
You, you
But
know,
I mean, like Vietnam, you know, the kids opposed that, and yes, I don't, maybe even like when I was a kid, there really wasn't anything to fight for or against. It's like, well, I mean, we had the when I was a teenager, there was that was a bad thing. Um, I opposed that, but I mean, there's nothing like really serious now, and because of that, we have soft children, and they're coddled by their parents, as you said. And were the parents bullied as kids? Maybe that was the problem. The parents weren't bullied as kids, and so they weren't like, when a bully picks on you at school, go up and punch him in the fucking jaw. That's what I was taught. Kick
yeah,
his ass.
yeah.
Maybe you'll get your ass kicked, but hey, what's the worst that happens? You get your ass kicked.
Yeah, the problem is kids are spoiled. They're coddled. They don't know how to react to pain. When they experience pain, they don't know how to react. They don't know what to do. So they're like, we must censor it. And anybody who causes me pain is the enemy. So they need to stand up against that type of injustice.
No, you need to get your ass kicked once or twice. That's what you need. Christopher Titus had this routine years ago where like a kid is going to stick a fork in the light socket, And he's like, the difference between men and women is that when a woman sees her kid sticking a fork in the light socket, they run over and they're like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't stick forks in light sockets. But when a man sees his kid about to stick a fork in a light socket, he calls his buddy over. Hey, come over here. Watch this. And yeah, that's the kind of joke that wouldn't fly in a college today. And, you know, you have to be baptized by fire sometimes. You have to figure out that some things are going to fucking hurt. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a messed up time we live in.
Yeah. Let's see. What's feminist aspects in this country would you like to see changed?
Are we talking about like third wave feminists?
Sure.
Everything. Absolutely, everything. I don't see any good that they're doing. I have not seen anything positive from these modern third wave intersectional feminists. Everything I've seen is bad. It's censorious in nature. It's making like I said, it's making everything feel safer by declawing everybody. And it's like, that's not how you do it. And like I said, don't get me wrong, the feminists of yesteryear, I wouldn't have changed anything that they've done. But I can't think of a single positive thing that feminists are fighting for today at all.
Yeah. Well, we're about to hit 2 hours, but I do have more.
Oh, crap.
I do have more questions for you, but it would end up being like 3 hours, and I would like to, for this video, like, for your fans to, get to, because the purpose of an interview is for the fans to learn more about you. Unless
Right.
you reveal everything in your channel. But what I'm thinking about doing, are you going to come back on so I could ask you religious questions next?
Oh, sure.
Okay, we'll end it here, and I'll have you back on to answer religious questions because I have quite a few of those.
Yeah, I'd love to. What do you do for like the last 10 minutes usually?
Excuse me?
Well, on your show, on your live streams, like, do you call it quits at 2 hours on the dot? Like, we still have like 10 minutes left.
It's much more like I do have a script, and I do have a script, and if I get started on the religious questions, that would seem really odd. So
so we'll do what I do in the last 10 minutes of my show. And when I do a live stream, we do what did we learn on the show today? And I'm the guest. I'll go first. I learned that there are people who are sexually attracted to obscene words, and I did not know that.
I learned about the Nebraska and Oklahoma corn cob.
We both learned about sex things. That's great.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll end it here, but we'll try to get you back on so you can answer all the religious questions. Does anybody in the audience have any questions that they would like to ask before I close this? He says, there's a guy named Michael, and he says, damn, Aldus, needs to tell us some of his gambling stories slash tips.
Oh, I have a few of those. They take a long time though, because store. We'll have to save some for the next time. So make sure you come back for the next show.
Yes, so Michael Shablin, please come back on so you could and remember your question. Remember your question. That's at sorry, like Atlas,
Aldus.
Aldus. Yeah, Aldus needs to talk about his gambling stories and tips. All right, we're closing. Let me just.